We're waiting. Once YouTube is ready to go, I'm going to make this pretty quick. There we go. All right, YouTube is ready to go. I'm going to go to YouTube. I see notifications. All right. No, nothing negative. Good. All right. I'm so grateful for that. Oh, and someone on YouTube, what's her name? Hang on, let me look here. How do I get to her? No, I can't. Yes, someone on YouTube, she sent me a comment saying, hey, in the About You section of YouTube, there's not a link for someone to be able to give. I'm going to fix that here in a little bit. So I haven't forgotten. So if she's listening and she heard this or she hears this, I read your comment and I'm going to try to fix that. So I will do that. That's very appreciative that someone would mention that. And the reason, and just for those who listen on YouTube, let me remind you, YouTube is like, if you look at all the places where people listen to us, YouTube is not even in the top 10, maybe not even in the top 15. And somewhat it makes sense. YouTube is video driven. I'm an audio podcast. And I don't, if I spent more time doing, focused on YouTube, then maybe we could build a bigger audience. I don't know, on YouTube, but so I don't do a lot of looking at how things are structured on YouTube going, oh, I should add this or add that. And to be fair, I never wanted to add to anywhere. This is how you give to support the podcast. That's the last thing I've ever wanted to do. So that's probably why I didn't catch it, but I will see what I can do. That would be great. All right. I never wanted to add to anywhere. This is how you give to support. All right. Oh, I do have, I'm going to be doing some behind the scenes work this afternoon, I think. All right. I got a couple of ideas. So got that done. That's ready to go. All right. Where's my Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia? Where have you guys been the last few days? Okay. I don't know. Well, I need to hurry though. I really do have to get this done in like a quick amount of time. So, okay. Think our streaming connection is not great, but that's okay. I'm just going to start. I like to see people show up on the map, but I don't have time to get people to show up on the map. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen, without any further delay. Ooh, I know what I need to do. I need to find this. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, and I'm going to mute the mic and then play the intro. Okay, and what?
Looking at our world from a theological perspective. This is the Theology Central Podcast, making theology central.
Good afternoon, everyone. Did you think I had forgotten? Did you think I'd already just kind of given up and moved on and was not going to do another one of these episodes? I bet you were thinking that, or maybe you were hoping that's what was happening, or maybe you don't even care. But either way, here I am. Good afternoon, everyone. It is Tuesday, November the 11th, 2025. It is currently 3:25 p.m. Central Time, and I'm coming to you live from the Theology Central studio, located right here in Abilene, Texas. And it is time for another episode in our ongoing series, the Sermon Audio Daily, where I turn on this microphone to point you to content. I try to help you discover content. I try to help curate content pulled from the Sermon Audio platform. That includes the Sermon Audio website, sermonaudio.com, the Sermon Audio app, which I believe is called Sermons by Sermon Audio. I don't know why it's just not called sermon audio. But that's neither here nor there. I'd have to look in the app stores again to see how it's listed. But at one point, it was like Sermon Audio 2.0, Sermon Audio 3.0. Then it's like Sermons by Sermon Audio. They just need one name. I think it should just be the Sermon Audio app, right? Sermon Audio app. The end. All right. Just because it's always going to be Sermon Audio, whether it's version 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, Sermons by Sermon Audio, just make it Sermon Audio, all right? That's just my suggestion. I'm not connected with Sermon Audio in any way, shape, or form, but that's just my connection. But it's time to do a little bit of work. And today it's going to be so much fun. It's all about Matthew chapter 24. Or maybe when I mention Matthew 24, it should be more like this. Maybe a little bit more subdued, or maybe when I mention Matthew 24, it should be more like this. Because sometimes when I hear someone say, open your Bibles to Matthew 24, I don't go, yay! I don't go. I kind of go, no. Anything but Matthew 24. No. If I was ever captured in the military and they tied me up and were going to torture you, and unless we tell you everything, all they would have to do is bring in some type of device to play sermons, and they say, we are going to play Matthew 24 sermons until you tell us everything. And I would be like, when I was 4, I stole some oatmeal cookies, and when I was 5, I played sick from the... Okay, I would just start... No, okay, that's a little bit of hyperbole. But yes, Matthew 24, if you have been paying attention to what's going on the podcast, not just the Sermon Audio Daily, you know I have been reviewing this like 3-hour dialogue / debate on Matthew 24, right? If you've been paying any attention, you know that I have. It is called, the thing I've been reviewing is entitled Deeply Rooted Eschatology Dialogue, and it's from Shepherd's Rock Bible Church. Again, it's called Deeply Rooted Eschatology Dialogue from Shepherd's Rock Bible Church. It's got like 44 downloads. Hang on. They may have a lot more downloads by now. Let me look. No, they're still at 44. Go download it. But it's like 3 hours. It's almost 3 hours long, and I'm reviewing it. And we've already gone like 2.5 hours in our review, and we're not even done with like the first hour of audio. So that's been an in-depth study or an in-depth review. It's not led to deep study yet, but it's led to some important topics being mentioned. But that whole eschatology dialogue, it's supposed to be about Matthew 24. I say supposed to because we've had some struggles, but finally we got to some actual discussion about Matthew 24. And it just made me think, well, I need to do a Sermon Audio Daily. Let's make it all about Matthew 24. Let's make it all about Matthew 24. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do something I don't typically do. I'm going to point to my own content. Now, if you go to Theology Central on the Sermon Audio app, if you go to the Sermon Audio app and do a search for Theology Central there, I'll just make it simple, and you find us, Theology Central. Once you find us, go to Series and look for Bible Study Exercise. Bible Study Exercise. Once you find the Bible Study Exercise series, in fact, you should be able to, I'm going to pull it up right here. You're going to have to scroll down a long ways because I've got almost 600 messages in that series, Bible Study Exercise. I have a lot. And if you scroll down, you will see that I did a Bible Study Exercise mini-series on Matthew chapter 24. Would anyone like to guess how many episodes I did on Matthew chapter 24? Are you ready? I'm going to go all the way down here. The first episode occurred back in 2022. 2022, all right? Here we go. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 26 episodes I did on Matthew 24. 26 episodes on Matthew chapter 24. That represents over 26 hours of struggle, of wrestling with the text, with discussing the text. I would challenge you to go download those 26 hours and just work through it at your own pace. So go download, go to on Sermon Audio app or the Sermon Audio website, just do a search for Theology Central. Go to once you go to Theology Central, go to series, look for Bible study exercise. You're going to have to scroll down. It's going to take you a while, and then you'll see Matthew 24, go all the way to episode 1, and then download episode 1, 2, 3, all the way to 26. 26 hours I discussed Matthew 24. 26 hours. Now, I won't say that's the most comprehensive study you will ever find or the most in-depth, but I'll put it up there that we probably dealt with every possible issue one could have with Matthew chapter 24, and I think we tried to look at it from all kinds of different perspectives. So some of you may say, but I heard that in 2022, it's going on 2026. Go download it today. Please go download it. And also, anytime you have anyone wanting to talk about Matthew 24 or cite Matthew 24, maybe you could get them to go listen to those 26 hours, because I probably will mess up their way of understanding Matthew 24. So that's the first thing I want you to, I know I don't typically promote my own content here for the Sermon Audio Daily, but it's hard to tell people to go listen to sermons on Matthew 24 and ignore my 26 hours. You know how many hours of work that represents? That is an insane amount of work that represents on my part. So I want someone to get the most out of it. Maybe we'll do, maybe I need to do some episodes of Theology Central Radio, and I'll just work through all 26 hours. Maybe I should do that. All right, maybe we'll look at that. And maybe we need to bring back the Bible study exercise series. I don't know. I mean, yeah, well, we can talk about that. So that's the first thing I want to point you to. The second thing I want to point you to is me muting the mic because I'm coughing, are 3 separate sermons, all from probably pretty radically different perspectives, all right? The first one, let me pull it up. The first one is entitled Matthew. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Well, wait a minute. They have Matthew 24 on here. Did they type the wrong? Okay. I think they messed up their title, all right? The Bible text they have listed is Matthew 24. On the screen of the video, they have Matthew 24, but they have it listed as Matthew 24, even though it's or Matthew 14, even though it's in a series entitled Matthew 24 and 25. So I'm going to say this is a sermon on Matthew 24, all right? I tried to find 3 from that look like from different perspectives, so I'm going to go ahead and give this one to you, all right? It is entitled Matthew chapter 14, verses 1 through 14, or Matthew 14, verses 1 through 14. I know it's weird. You're going to have to search for Matthew 14, 1 through 14, but it's actually a sermon on Matthew 24. It's a part of a series, FBC 2024, Matthew 24 through 25. If you want to just look up the series, FBC, that's F as in Frank, or Foxtrot, if we want to go military, B as in Bravo, C as in Charlie, FBC 2024, Matthew 24 through 25. The broadcaster is Duluth Bible Church. Duluth Bible Church. It's a part of a conference, obviously on Matthew 24 through 25. And this one is on verses 1 through 14. I believe that's supposed to be 24. They typed in Matthew 14. Nobody is. Hey, let me. This is just a request, a plead with you. When you're going around the Sermon Audio app and you see someone who's got the title wrong or something's wrong, please send them a message, a nice message, not being rude or being arrogant. Just say, hey, I'm not sure if you're aware, but the title is wrong. Because sometimes I'll be going through my stuff and go, nobody bothered to tell me? Nobody? And it's just because, look, this is going to hurt them. They've only got 139 downloads. It's been there since 2024. Now, that's still a good amount of numbers, but they probably could have doubled that because if someone's looking for Matthew 24, they need to be able to find this sermon. So, hey, it says Matthew 14, but I'm almost positive it's on Matthew 24, 1 through 14. Everything else says that it is. So, so look it up. Matthew 14, 1 through 14. Matthew 14, 1 through 14. Or you can just look up the series, FBC 2024, Matthew 24 through 25. Or you could just look up Duluth Bible Church and then go to series, look for FBC 2024, and look for the sermon that says Matthew 14. All right. I will put a link to it in my show notes. But you can go listen to that, get that perspective. So you've got my series within the Bible study exercise, 26 plus hours on Matthew 24. You've got this message at a conference about Matthew 24 and 25 on Matthew 24, 1 through 14 from Duluth Bible Church. The next message is, I'm opening it up right now, the Olivet Discourse, Part 1, The Beginning of the End. The Olivet Discourse, Part 1, The Beginning of the End. This is from Fifth Street PCA, this Presbyterian Church America, I think that's what it stands for. Fifth Street PCA. This is from a Presbyterian perspective, so you're almost positive it's going to come from an amillennial, maybe a preterist kind of view, maybe. I don't know. You can see which way they handle it. So there you go. That's the Olivet Discourse, Part 1, The Beginning of the End. It covers Matthew 24, 1 through 14. All right. So check it out. Again, Fifth Street PCA. It's all, and their series Matthew. So just find their series Matthew. Just scroll down, look for the Olivet Discourse Part 1, The Beginning of the End. There we go. There's another sermon. And then last, but definitely not least, this one has this vibe of, I don't know. I don't want to say conspiratorial. It just has this vibe of, oh no. It does, but I can't draw any conclusion until I listen. But this one is called Indicators of the End Times. Now, the first thing that scares me to death, because that seems to completely ignore Matthew 24 being primarily about the destruction of the temple in 70 AD. But it's called Indicators of the Times. It's from a series entitled, When Will the Next Third World War Begin? Okay. So I'm trying to give you from all kinds of different perspectives. When will the next third world war begin? This was uploaded in January of 2025. So I don't know, has the third world war began? I don't know. All right. So Indicators of the End Times. When will the next third world war begin? This is from Servants of Christ broadcaster. And it's in Matthew 24, 1 through 14. All right. And you can already know their perspective. Indicators of the End Times. We look into the prophetic words of Jesus in Matthew 24, where he speaks about the signs that will precede the end of the age. Doesn't mention 70 AD. How is that humanly possible? I will never know. How can you go to Matthew 24 and take those signs and immediately make them about the end of the age and completely ignore the context in which they were spoken? I will never understand that. I could be a Christian for 1,000 years. And there's so many issues like this where pastors say things and I just like, how can what is happening? All right. So, but there you go. Those are three different ones. So let me go through them again. So You can check them all out. The first one is entitled Matthew 14, 1 through 14, but it should be Matthew 24, 1 through 14, but you'll look for Matthew 14, 1 through 14. It's part of a series, FBC 2024, Matthew 24 through 25, from Duluth Bible Church. There will be a link in the show notes. The second sermon is the Olivet Discourse, Part 1, the beginning of the end, from Fifth Street PCA, a part of their series on Matthew. The third sermon is Indicators of the End Times from the broadcaster Servants for Christ. This is a part of their series, When Will the Next Third World War Begin? Right? Go check out all three. And then don't forget my series, Theology Central, Bible Study Exercise. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Scroll down. I'm losing my voice. Look for Matthew 24 and you will see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 26 parts. I think it's fair to say that I know Matthew 24 pretty well, okay? I think it's fair to say, all right? And that's just one of the times I've taught Matthew 24. If I was to take all the times I've worked through Matthew 24, it probably would be like 50 hours I've spent on Matthew 24. And I don't even know. I mean, that's probably behind a pulpit. I don't even know how many times in broadcasting. So check it out. Have a little fun. Gather the family around, pop some popcorn, and say, tonight is Matthew 24 night. And they will all be like, yes, there's nothing better than Matthew 24 night. Okay, no, nobody will say yes. Nobody will be excited. Nobody will want any popcorn. Well, maybe they want the popcorn. They don't want Matthew 24. But the more, I want you to hear all the different perspectives, and I want you to struggle with that fact. Why is it that nobody agrees? I want you to hear how wildly divergent the interpretations are. And then I want you to consider all that we've already said. We will continue our review of this eschatology. All of a sudden, I can't say the word. Eschatology. I think I was going to say eschatological, but eschatology dialogue/debate. We'll continue our review of it. And there we go. And I apologize for having to mute the mic. Apologize for messing up the word eschatology. I am, my throat. I got something in my throat, so I want to just start coughing. So it's making it difficult to say eschatology. I mean, I've only said eschatology 5,000 times, but okay. All of a sudden it's, what is happening? I'm malfunctioning. AI is misfunctioning. I'm messing up. Because actually I'm AI. I'm supposed to sound normal, but I'm having a malfunction. All right. It's eschatology. All right. So there we go. Are we good to go? I think so. That concludes this episode of the Sermon Audio Daily, where my job is to point you to sermons. Please note within the show notes, there will be a link. I'll put a link to my series. I think that's okay, right? I'll put a link to part 1. That's what I'll do. And then, yeah, I think that's okay. Don't you think that's okay? I think that's okay. As a little bit of self-promotion, I don't necessarily want to do that, but how do I tell you to go listen to everything on Matthew 24 and just overlook the fact that I spent 26 hours plus working on it? So, yeah, there we go. And the Sermon Audio Daily, remember, it's now November the 11th. We are going to continue this series at least into December, and then I will decide if I want to keep doing this or if it's a waste of time. I haven't heard a lot of feedback. I don't think a lot of people... Look, the reality is a lot of people's like, great, Sermon Audio is this giant library. I don't really care. I'll listen to what I want when I want. And I don't care for you to curate content for me. And I understand that. But I thought I would at least give it a try because I just feel like the library, I don't think people utilize it. And this is a good example today of what we can do. We hear a discussion on Matthew 24 and we're like, okay, well, now let's expand our study of Matthew 24 by listening to sermons picked randomly from the gigantic Sermon Audio library. And let's try to pick some that gives us 3 maybe different perspectives or different approaches. That is how we dig in. That's how you get the most out of a library, right? So, yeah, we'll see. If this series doesn't go well, we'll end it and we'll just move on to something else. All you can do is try. Try different things, all right? And the word is why can I not say the word right today? Eschatology. I don't know why I'm having a problem with the word today. Eschatology. I've said it a million times today. Eschatology. I don't know why. Isn't that weird? How that can just happen? I've said the word a million times in my life, right? I've studied eschatology in school, okay, right? I had to write papers on eschatology. And all of a sudden today, I can't say the word. Okay, that's weird. All right. Thank you for listening. Everyone have a great day. And happy Matthew 24 Day, I guess. Well, it's Veterans Day, but we're going to make it happy Matthew 24 Day because, well, that's what I'm giving you. Check the show notes for links. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. God bless.